Welcome back. This is the Waterloo campaign, Black Powder Epic Battles. What's in the box? Unboxing, whatever. This is actually the second one in my series for the Black Powder Epic Battles for the Waterloo campaign series. It's Bonaparte's French Army starter set. So it's the French ones. I already did the Prussians. I've done Hannibal on Hail Caesar Epic. I've done the American Civil War version. I have shots and pikes sometime soon, but I have the box. I haven't opened yet. And then coming in July, I will have the American Revolution one, the Revolution series coming out. That's one I'm going to enjoy. But this one is the French. So let's open this box. And it's not, I do the board games and I do the miniatures, but they're all the same. One does counters, one does plastic and that you have to put together. So what's in this box? Let's read this fun stuff. And you know what? These days, I need to read with my glasses. But anyways, so what do we get? If you see that wonderful pictures and stuff, that's the French. Looks like it comes with that building. The Prussians come with a windmill, and I think the British come with a fort, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, it says that more than 1,000 soldiers represented here. So we get the French infantry, so 800 light infantry, 80 skirmishers, and 10 mounted commanders, which is pretty standard for these. And all of them, you get usually the 10 commanders. Then we get French heavy cavalry, 4 bases of cuirassiers, crosses. I can't speak English, and so I pronounce everything horribly. 3 bases of carabiners, 3 bases of dragoons. So you have 7 bases of cavalry there. Then you get some light cavalry, which is the same, looks like about the same. 4 bases of lancers, 3 bases of hussars, and 4 bases of chasseurs la cheval, and 10 foot 6-pound artillery. 6 horse 6-pounder artillery. So 10 foot artillery and 6 foot horse artillery. It's interesting. I want to see how they just represent those differently. Then green bases for all figures. So for this, compared to like the Prussians, you get the line infantry and light infantry, and you get heavy and light French cavalry and artillery. And then you get the huge book for epic battles. And I don't think it's really any different than, this is the one from Prussian, but it looks very much the same as, I have the digital one too, of the regular Black Powder book rules. But anyways, so that's cool. And that's pretty much, you get the assembly painting guide. The assembly guide sucks. I was sucked for the Persians. The painting guide is kind of cool, but I think the assembly guide sucks. I had to figure out what units went with what by going on their site to figure out what went with what and how they set that up. It wasn't as intuitive. They're kind of together, but then yet again, I don't know. It's kind of confusing sometimes. If you haven't looked, you're trying to figure out, they're all one color, trying to figure out what goes with what when they're very similar, like mounted cavalry and stuff, and what's the differences. So you get on their site and look at what they actually sell, the individual cavalry units, and you can maybe figure it out. And the flag sheets for the units, obviously, and then the house and dice, which are probably going to be the really tiny dice. So, and I hate that. It sounds bad. Stuff flipping around. So let's pop it open. Here we go. Nice blue. So what we have some cavalry, yep, and some artillery. So this is the cavalry sprue. So these bases are different than what came with the Prussians. So these are the small frames. And what's the difference between the big and the small? I'll show you. Let's see if I have the big one still somewhere. So this one comes with 6 in tune, and this is like for the artillery. This is for the commander, single units, and then these are for usually for skirmishers and the line units, infantry units. But for the Prussian ones, they came in with the large ones, which comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 large squares. The square here and the other square. So if you see a big difference from the small and the big. So this box might have came out first before they had the big ones. I'm not sure, but 2020 on this one, and this one does it have a 2020? 2024. So this come out later. So that Prussian one came out as a later. You know, this is an earlier box, I would assume then. So you get 16 small frames for your bases, and if you probably have extra ones laying around. And we got John. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. And then some more cavalry. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sprues of the cavalry. I think we showed that pretty good. It's got artillery piece. This is a unit. They look like they go together. This unit should go together. I'm not sure what how these go together. If they go with these across, possibly. Usually they keep the units, try to keep them together like cavalry. So, and these are units. Look very similar to the Prussians. We got our skirmishers, and then our cavalry. I think that would be the foot. And our commander. So our commander's on there. Why are they different? Infantry. One should be line, one should be light, but I'm not sure. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of those fun things. Yeah, you can tell. I'll tell you what I see. So 10 of those sprues, but that's the commander sprue because you got the guidon pole, the eagle. I think they all got the backpack. Some of them don't have backpacks. Backpack. Yes, I know, Dora. So some of them do look different, somewhat. So one's a light, one's the line lifter. Just a regular little baggie for your dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The Prussians, I had somebody packed it for me. They look the same. Maria did it. There's the book. Same book as in my Prussian one. Yep. So, but it's a great book. Honestly, it's a good read. I'm gonna give it out to people. And then you get your MDF house to do. Shows you how to do it on the back. These actually had decent instructions how to do it and how to set it together, and kind of some ideas how to do things specifically. Kind of cool. And then this is a shitty guy. I don't care. It's got how to kind of paint, which is okay. How to show how to paint. That's fine. That's dandy. And these kind of how they do their color and paint. That makes sense. But the actual construction, kind of like how the Prussian was harder. They didn't show all the units. So there's dragoons, there's the lancers, there's your and your heavy cavalry. You have to put those banners for the cavalry in, so you're going to use their banners, which you don't have to. You have to cut them in, put in your hand out of one of the sword holders, and cut them in, because infantry units already have them built in, but they don't do it. Here's your skirmishers, and then your line units, and then there's your other units. They're not there. So grenadiers are positioned on the far right. So we'll see how it goes when I go through and build it. Like I said, the construction guides are not good. Painting is. And here's all the different flags you can use. And they have them kind of spelled out what they are on top. So of some of them. 3rd Battalion, all that stuff. Which, that is cool. What I would do is, personally, since this is kind of flimsy to me, I would put it on a little thicker stock, print it out, do it again to make it a little better setup for those when I'm doing it. So once I do them, but that's it for the French box. So what I'm gonna do, like I did with the Prussian, I'm going to build them, put them all together. Probably take me about a day, and we'll come back and we can look at what I did. I will put them in. My favorite thing to store them is the Bright Room stackable trays. They're like 12 by 12s by 2 inch. And the reason I do that, when you put them in there, especially for 15mm stuff, fit perfectly and it protects it from the dust. And you can still see them from the side. When you're looking from the side on your shelves, you can see them. You're like, oh, I got those, I got those, I got those. Got to paint those. For me, it keeps my brain going that I have those. Out of sight, on mine is bad for me. But that's what I do. And like these are like $6 at Target now in my area, so, and they're well worth it. They stack really well, and you can put something on top to keep the dust on top. They have little other ones, bigger ones you can stack tools and stuff in, and that's what I do. I'll show you one day my setup. I have my Flames of War, Team Yankee in it. I have all my other 15mm in these because it's perfect size for them. But anyways, I will do my build, and then through the time editing power of magic, I'll be back. Welcome back. I put together the army. Obviously I didn't paint it. Painting not required. So basically what I built is most of what they suggested. I didn't build 3 of the skirmishers units, which I still have them over here. So I have enough to build 3 more of the walking skirmishers, so I can put them all kind of walking kind of thing. I just did more of the shooting skirmishers. Where are they at? They're all right here. So these are all the skirmishers. I have 10 bases of them, kind of just set up for shooting. So I got 10, and then I got 3 more I could put to kind of the walking into battle type skirmishers. So I'll just do those. But I did use, and I've said this many other times before, I think I may have said it in this video as well, I use removable glue dots to do my attachments for these bases. If they don't they have holes to fit in, but they don't always sit in there perfectly in a line. Like the Prussian Army one, they all really didn't need glue. They just sat in perfectly, and the plastic fit perfectly. This one I had to, because the plastic on the pegs were a lot smaller than the holes. So anyways, then they're removable glue dots, so I can pull them right out, and they're not super glued. They're not like, it works really well for my purposes. So I bought a 6-pack of those just now off Amazon. So it comes in well, security needs, so I can pull them off, I can paint them and reassign them when I do paint them without ruining things. But anyways, so what I have my artillery pieces here, 3 artillery pieces that I get. When I was looking at the box, what it stated versus what I have somewhat looks a little different than I appear, unless I'm kind of blind, which it's a possibility. This would be this is the French. I got the backs of the book. Yeah, this is the French. So I don't know if that's even gonna show up right. Anyways, what it states on here. So I got 10-foot artillery 6-pounders and 6 horse artillery 6-pounders, right? When I was putting them together, I have 3 of this type, right? And then when you look down here, I have 13. No, there they are. So I have several different unit types. So I have 3 of this style, 3 of this style, and actually, you know what? I was correct. So I have 13. This is 3 of the same of here. Then I have 3. So there's not 6 and 10. There's 3 and 13. So that's, at least in this box, it was incorrect. So it's interesting. But the cavalry did come out correctly. So I did label them underneath as well. So that's That's how I make sure I keep crossers. The heavy these are four heavy cavalry lancers and lights. So they're all here. Some of the glue kind of makes them bounce around, but so they got 3 of pretty much all the different cavalries here. Types. We got light cavalry, you know, hussars and dragoons. Let's see, more French, which I don't. You know, the light cavalry we have all around here with the heavy cavalry. So we got 4 of those, and the skirmishers, and an artillery. And I put them in this nice bright room. Basically, it's 12 by 12 tray. Fits perfectly in my IKEA cubes that I use, or any kind of cube thing nowadays, since they're all kind of similar. It's 11.8 by 11.8, but it's perfect for storing. And I do like it because when you stack them, it keeps dust from going in your miniatures. Everybody hates dust. And for 15mm size, this is perfect for this. And then there's my infantry. So we got our line infantry here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. So 10 times 4, right? Well, how much is that? We don't know. We didn't do math. You know, that's 40 bases, right? We don't do math. And what did it say in our 80 line infantry? So they're double per thing, so there's 80. So the artillery doesn't match up to the numbers and types that they said that these need to be, honestly, which is okay. It's all fine. Not sure why they put 6 and 10 and then their frames are incorrect, but that could have been just their mistake, and they may have corrected it, because I think this is a 2021 frames, and draw off the sprues, if I'm not mistaken. That's at least what it said, I believe, unless I'm wrong. You could be wrong. Yeah, it's 2021 box. My Prussian box, I think, was a 2024 box, which is a little better. No, it's 2022. Never mind. But it had 2024 frames in it, so bases. Anyways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 10 commanders, but I think they said, yeah, they said 10. I just, you know, from the box to what it is, I just don't like sometimes when they make misprints and mess up things and do not check things. And this is the leftover cavalry unit. So things that, with the cavalry, I couldn't make another whole unit. Also, some of them are just the leaders versus the non-leaders in the cavalry unit. So have them, they have different poses for the actual leader units. And then if you're going to put the guidons with them, like with the line infantry, they have the guidon built into the leader rank. With cavalry, they don't do that, so I'll just pull one out and they're sticking a little bit. That's the only thing I kind of have an issue with. But so these are the carabiners, the heavy cavalry. So you see the leader has his sword out up front, and you could also take that sword off and use provided, which I have over here, from the sprue is the guidon, so it has a little hand on it. So you have to cut off his hand, injure him, and then put the guidon if you want to put the banners on it for him. So you can do that as well. But yeah, and then they give enough for if you want to do all normal teams without the leader, you know, the commander or whatever of the unit, the unit leader, I guess you call, or you can do all leader units if you want to. If you build a couple boxes, you want to build a couple different units, I guess, and stuff like that, depending on how you want to build it. So you have the option, at least they give you that. So that's what you get in this starter box, enough to at least do some battling with your friends or yourself if you're an introvert with no friends. But that's it for this build, which is painting not included, and what's in the box, build whatever. I am going to do the British starter set for the Waterloo Epic campaign next. So be on the lookout for that. I have a lot of other used games and other things going on, different other random videos. I kind of go back and forth between miniatures and board games and whatever I feel good about, and do some live streams on Twitch, which I'll bring over on download to YouTube after they're done too, just to have some fun doing different things, and may do some online computer-based board games too that I've bought a few, like Twilight Struggle and a few other similar games like that, just to play, which is easier to play on the computer versus, you know, on the board, bringing that out when you're using AI stuff. Same thing with Gettysburg and all the other Mark Herman Rebel Fury. If you're gonna play yourself and you don't have like an app, which some of them do, have an app support for the AI, which just makes it easier to play. So you can't cheat. I do cheat to win. I mean, it's still fun to play. Anyways, just make sure you guys have a great wargaming day. Keep out there and gaming. Just remember, wargaming and gaming is just about learning. At least for me, wargaming is about learning about what happened in history. Trying to think about, you know, why it happened. You know, explore it, and then just learning the history is kind of an important part of it to me. It's fun to challenge each other and have fun too at the same time. And there's so many different kinds of games out there. That's the point of it. The point of it is not just to buy it and store it and keep it on a shelf. At least that's not my idea of collecting board games. My idea is using them, playing with them, and enjoying them. Not just keeping it in the box on the shelf and saying, hey, that's a cool game. I never played it. All right. Just remember, always keep your dice clean, safe, and free, and not out of the mouths of little ones, because they like those things. And always sanitize them. Just remember, we don't know where they've been when you're not using them. Catch you on the next one.